So it's a two-person race right now. Not a single debate has occurred, obviously, in between Super Tuesday, where the race changed dramatically with a extremely tight marginal delegate lead that Joseph Robinette Biden currently has over Bernie Sanders. Zero debates that have taken place so far in between Super Tuesday and March 10th. I personally think that that is deliberate. The DNC absolutely does have control over how many debates are taking place, what kind of commentary occurs on those debates, what the debates look like. Of course, round-the-clock positive coverage for our boy, Joseph Robinette. Okay? So, obviously, that is going to swing a lot of people who, overall, have just been waiting for one person to finally vote for. Because they don't really follow, they don't really pay close attention, as we all know. And they're just waiting for the media to be like, that's the guy. This is the uniter of the party. This is the guy who's going to beat Donald Trump. I personally think that the media is lying when they say Joe Biden is going to have an easy shot defeating Donald Trump. It's not impossible. And Bernie Sanders has his own set of weaknesses against Donald Trump as well. But Joe Biden, when looking at this with an honest and critical lens here, you will realize that Joe Biden has significant weaknesses in comparison to Bernie Sanders when matching up against Donald Trump, both on the issues of policy, whether it be his NAFTA support, whether it be his criminal justice, his draconian criminal justice measures that Donald Trump can run to his left on, whether it be the fact that he has even hung out with segregationists, this stuff, or outright lied numerous times throughout his recent campaign and has lied throughout his previous campaigns as well, and had to even step down in a disgraceful manner, whether it be lying about his grades in college, which is something that Donald Trump did as well, but 100% will be able to weaponize against Donald Trump, okay? Or lying about getting arrested when trying to visit Nelson Mandela, or lying about getting arrested during the civil rights movement. These are all lies that Joe Biden has said. They will be used against him. And then those are the policy differences. Those are the significant optics differences. But the most significant optics difference I haven't even mentioned is Joe Biden's very clear diminishing cognitive abilities.
I was a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lion, dog faced pony shoulder. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you.
Look, Pat, here's the deal.
Why attack Sanders?
Wait, you're getting nervous, man. Just calm down. It's okay.
This is something that journalists behind closed doors openly talk about. This is something that even Democratic establishment figureheads, like politicians who have endorsed Joe Biden, have openly talked about on mainstream media. I'm sorry. It is out there. It is obvious. And if you genuinely are still trying to keep up appearances that Joe Biden absolutely is not experiencing some sort of cognitive decline, where his mental faculties are very clearly diminished from Joe Biden of only 4 years ago in 2016, you are delusional. You are deluding yourself, and you have been caught up with the media narrative that he will be able to get floated all the way into the general, which is true. He might get floated into the general with the media support, but will absolutely get obliterated in the general because of the overwhelming amount of combative media that you are going to see from the right side. If you've tuned into any of these mainstream media channels, if you read the New York Times, read any of the papers, you will see the Joe-mentum. It is totally fabricated. It is totally pushed by mainstream media and also, obviously, establishment figureheads who are lying and acting like Joe Biden has a shot at defeating Donald Trump.
Nice.
It's disgusting. It's insane to me. It is very frustrating as someone who absolutely wants Trump to be removed from office. Not only did I want Donald Trump to be removed from office, I wanted Donald Trump to be removed from office by way of even impeachment, something that a lot of these centrist Democrats had a hard time coming to terms with. We are going to start with, obviously, the first most significant news story of the day, when this morning Joseph Robinette was meeting up with union auto workers, and he did his classic famous Joe Bidenism to one of those auto workers, and it got a little heated. So let's take a look at what happened here.
That have been working countless hours under the Trump administration. I'd like you to explain how you plan to not only keep us working, but how you intend on getting the union vote when there is a large portion of the union workers that are gun enthusiasts, and you are actively trying to diminish our Second Amendment right and take away our guns.
You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No,
Guys.
shush. Shush. I support the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, just like right now, if you yell fire, that's not free speech. And from the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, a 12 gauge, my sons hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to own any weapon. I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds.
So when you were in Beto, when you said you're going to take our guns, that
I
means
did
what?
not say that. That's not true. I did not say that.
That's a viral video.
What's a
Remember when I told you guys having Beto O'Rourke be your gun czar was an absolutely devastating nail in the coffin defeat to ensure that you lose overwhelmingly in the general? This is one anecdote because a lot of union guys do think like this. If you looked into any of those autopsies post 2016 where New York Times journalists and Washington Post journalists traveled the country to find what was going on with the white working class, you would realize that a big chunk of them feel as though neither party represents their best interest. A big chunk of union members feel as though neither party represents their best interest. But there is one party that definitely does one thing for them, and that is the Republicans, no matter what, will protect their guns. Now, that is a hard battle to win. Do I think the Democrats are on the right side of that? Absolutely. I think that regulations is an absolute necessity in this country. It is unfathomable the way that our gun laws work here, or the lack thereof, rather. It is insane how much power the NRA has over lobbying Congress. This is yet another example of money's corrosive influence on legislation. They are representing the gun manufacturers and not necessarily NRA members themselves. 75% of NRA members believe in universal background checks. The NRA has actively fought against that in very successful ways. Okay, so 90% of gun owners, including members who are card-carrying NRA members, believe in universal background checks. It's a wrap. This is the easiest bill that you can pass, and we still can't get it. So I am firmly on the Democratic side on this issue as someone who isn't an ammosexual as much as some of the people, some of my counterparts in middle America or even in places like Oregon. But I still personally enjoy shooting guns. I've shot guns on the stream. You guys know where I stand on this issue. But having Beto O'Rourke be your gun czar is telling the rest of the country that might be moderate on most issues or might even vote Democrat if you were to, I don't know, come up with a policy that would help their lives or improve their lives, similar to, I don't know, strengthening unions or Medicare for all, which is very popular. That sort of, those sorts of policies that are very popular. If you were to do that, maybe they would overlook your potentially draconian gun regulation measures that you want to implement in this country. They're not going to do that if the only thing you're offering is cultural, okay? If the only thing you're offering is just finger wagging and nothing that pertains to the material inequalities that the working class faces in this country, and if the only thing that you're offering is fighting back against the Republicans, but only from a aesthetic point of view, you're going to lose those guys.
viral video like the other ones they're putting out that are simply a lie?
Your voice, you said that.
By the way, I'm pausing it so much. Pause it. This is a very Sam Cedar take here, but what he's doing here is no different than what Donald Trump does. I'm sorry. There's a lot of viral videos out there that misrepresent what I say. Why? It's like, dude, the similarities between political figures on our side and political figures on the Republican side are usually a silly comparison, okay? Politicians do politics, okay? No matter who they are. But, like, he's straight up doing fake news. Just substitute that. So the fact that the media won't call this out after lying or after not lying necessarily, but after crying about Donald Trump for months on end, relentlessly, for them to turn around and turn a blind eye to Joe Biden doing the exact same thing is disgusting to me.
You're taking a gun.
Well, he just clarified it.
Wait.
Take your AR-14s.
Okay, this is not okay.
AR-14. Come on, guy. If you know what these gun sexuals, ammo sexuals care about,
Has right, has
it's
Matt,
the
has
it's
left.
the undeniable reality that you cannot misgender their guns. Okay, they hate that. They'll be the most transphobic people on the planet. But God forbid you say AR-15, the AR doesn't stand for Armalite, and it actually stands for assault rifle. They will lose their shit on you, okay? And it also, again, Trump is your president, as this moron pointed out. It proves that gun grabbers have no idea what they're talking about.
Trans rights.
It feeds into that narrative. It 100% feeds into that narrative. Every time you have a conversation about assault weapons bans, gun lovers will turn around and say, oh, well, give me the distinction between an AR-15 and any other gun. It's like, low recoil, long barrel, higher magazine capacity. Like these are distinctions that have been made in the past. You can absolutely make those distinctions. You can try to work around it. You can try to put a loophole or work around it, but they are distinctions that have worked in the past. We already have 1 million plus, or more than 1 million. I don't know how many million AR-15s we have in circulation already. I want that to go the way of automatic weapons in this country. I want those weapons to stay in circulation, or through successful buyback programs to purchase some of those weapons and get them off the marketplace. But there is plenty of AR-15s out in the marketplace. We don't need to make more of them, okay? That's the way I see it. It's the most popular rifle in the United States. It's already sold way too much. Just put an end to it, okay? That's the way I see it. All right, so Joe Biden at this point is doing the finger point thing.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Hey, let's
Don't tell me
there's a lot of guys. A lot of guys wanted.
I'm not worried.
Hold
on.
so much.
Give me a break,
so
man.
much.
Don't be such a
You're
horse
pushing up
guy.
on me.
Hey, there's a lot of.
Hey.
Speak to Joe.
Look, here's the deal.
Go.
Here's the deal. Are you able to own a machine gun?
Why on a machine
I said, are you able to own one?
Machine guns are illegal.
That's right. So AR-15's illegal.
How is that a machine gun?
No, it's not.
Semi-automatic.
Yeah, do you need 100 rounds? Do you need 100 rounds?
Deaths in America from handguns than there are what you call assault rifles. Why are you advocating for assault rifles when people are dying by handguns?
Hey, no. Come on, do this.
So Joe doesn't have like the wrong idea here. What he's trying to say is we banned automatic weapons and you don't have a problem with that. You know it's illegal. That's what we want to do to assault rifles or assault weapons, including the AR-14, right? But the problem here is he's not doing a good job describing his point, and he's yelling over everybody. It's a chaotic situation. This is pure narcissism. Joe puts himself in these circumstances because he is narcissistic and thinks he can deal with them when he absolutely cannot. So I think that there are better ways of dealing with this issue. Saying we're just going to ban all guns, I'm going to come to your houses with the police force and like take your guns away, is the worst way of dealing with this issue. Especially when you're like Beto O'Rourke, okay? It might play somewhat well in the Democratic primary. You will get obliterated in the general. There's a follow-up of this video. Okay, let's take a look.
Government with voters that you don't agree with, sir.
Vice President, on the coronavirus, they're both targeting you over this exchange this morning with the voter about guns. Any regrets about how you handled it?
Well, I'm surprised that Sanders is joining Trump. It's just surprising.
Wasn't it appropriate to swear at an American, though, especially a union voter?
It just like doesn't have to be comprehensible. It's just at this point, the campaign's route is full malarkey. Joe Biden, despite being the non-malarkey candidate, the no malarkey candidate, has decided that his pathway to success is getting elevated by the media and just going full malarkey. Everything is Bernie Sanders. Everybody who hates me is Bernie Sanders. It is reminiscent of a neoliberal streamer and his subreddit. Really. Everything I hate is a Chapo cell. Why? It's all the Chapo cells. Just the stutter, by the way. Yeah, this is a classic. If Bernie Sanders were to say, Joe Biden is similar to Trump, and there's a lot more similarities between Joe Biden and Donald Trump on literal policies, which is what should matter. Joe Biden and Donald Trump have a lot more similarities in policies than Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump do. Okay? Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump are both populists, for sure. But they're on the opposite ends of the political spectrum in terms of policy, in terms of ideas. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are infinitely closer to one another than Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are, if we're being honest, in terms of policies. That's never going to get talked about in the media, obviously. All right, so let's see what the damage control that MSNBC did for Joe Biden.
Completely different. But here's some context. The way MSNBC, which is a super PAC for Joe Biden, sees it. And
clips of Biden's dementia.
Okay, let me give you some context if you missed that moment. Joe Biden was confronted by a person at one of his events that he was obviously making his pitch to, who accused him of wanting to take his guns away. Joe Biden got to the straight talk real quick, said, "You're full of bleep."
Straight talk.
And they went at it. And I would...
Straight Talk Express. It's the No Malarkey Tour. Thank you for the context, lady. Thank you for the context. Why? Man, shut the f*** up, dude. Shut the f*** up. And then people say, Hassan, why are you so angry? Why are you so ruthless? Why do you say such toxic things? Well, my toxicity is minimal in comparison to the genuine damage that pieces of shit like this do on a daily basis on MSNBC, which has a significant influence over how people perceive one candidate over the other. They do this all the fucking time. Of course, Bernie Sanders is loud and angry. Why won't he shut up? Why won't Bernie Sanders stop being so toxic? He's always wagging his fingers in a sexist fashion. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is literally like, listen, Jack, I'll slap the shit out of your face, okay? It's an AR-14 I'm taking, and I'm taking the AR-15 too. Cut the shit, Jack. I'll smack you, okay? I'll do a push-up contest with you, fat, okay? Cut the crap. Cut the malarkey. I'm the malarkey candidate. I do the malarkey around these parts. And MSNBC's like, well, you know, it was the Straight Talk Express. Joe Biden showed once again how confident he is, even when faced with tremendous opposition from what I'm hearing now is a Bernie bro, actually. A Bernie bro who loves guns and said he is going to vote for Donald Trump because Bernie bros and Donald Trump are exactly the same.
Joe Biden defending his position on gun control, saying that
he wasn't! He was lying about his position. What the f***? I want to die. I want to die when I see shit like this. It's all lies. Oh my God. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. What they're doing is disgusting. Holy f***, dude. Holy f***ing shit, dude. Holy f***ing shit.
On the floor was exaggerating it, that he's not coming to take away their guns, but he's called.
The f*** do you mean he's not going to take away? Why? The guy didn't even say you want to take our guns away. The guy said you have Beto O'Rourke who wants to take our guns away. You said you were going to put Beto O'Rourke in charge of taking our guns away. Confronted by a veteran on his Iraq vote, my son died too of brain cancer, not combat. Biden goes off the rails. CNN, it's charming. Some people see that as charming. CNN, Bernie talks. CNN, oh my God, too loud. Joe hits voters and throws it. It doesn't matter, okay? These people might be on our side, but the overwhelming majority of people that watch CNN programming are totally susceptible to the nonsensical statements coming from this camp here. They are not above it. They are just as brain cancered as the Republicans are when watching Fox News. That's it. Mainstream media on the CNN and MSNBC side also cause brain rot in a similar capacity to fucking Fox News. So you might jerk off to the dislikes on here, but in effect, we're no different than the alt-right in that sense. Oh, wow, there's a lot of dislikes. Look at all the comments. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The people that are going to go out and vote are like, you know what? You are right. Joe Biden did a good job cutting the malarkey once again. Bernie, on the other hand, is very toxic and very mean, and I hate him.
Called the man, he said he's full of, and then he called them a horses. It's noon or it's 9 o'clock out in California. I'm not going to fill in the blanks there. Again, some people see that as charming, a candidate who's willing to air it out face to face with a guy on the floor. Some people say, whoa, you could choose different words, couldn't you?
Yeah, Biden has had a few of these interactions with voters over the course of the primary campaign where he's sort of used some language that is, a little bit questionable. But I think for his campaign, they've pushed it out and said that this shows Biden's authenticity, the no malarkey part of the Biden approach to politics. It is really interesting to see some of these unscripted moments.
Cattle. These are sheep herders. And everyone that watches this is sheep. Okay? Bernie does the exact same thing, which would never happen. But if Bernie had a similar level of confrontation, this is positively Trumpian. We need to stop this.